Hey guys, welcome to today's video on security and privacy for your laptop or your desktop. This one is going to be concerning around backups. What is the best way I have found thus far to do backups? Now, backups have never been an easy task. Now, I've said before, if you are running on Windows still, if you have not been brave enough to dump Windows 10, then I suggest that you go over to Carbonite and purchase their package. To my mind, Carbonite is the best solution for Windows 10. It's the best one I've seen, and I'm not going to be running Windows 10 anywhere to show you, but I think you get a 15-day free trial with that as well. So that's definitely worth your time. Now today I want to take a look at doing backups in Linux, and I'm going to download and install an app to do this that I actually took off because I wanted to try something else, but I'm going to put it back on. But first I want to show you one application I just tried. And I don't like to badmouth applications, but if you're going to use this one, be very cautious. I had problems with it because it's a low-level backup, and that's great. But it was a nightmare for me this morning when I got up. Now, this is partially my fault, but I also like things to be somewhat idiot-proof, right? And it's called, if memory serves me, it's called Lucky Backup. It gets rave reviews. Right? As you can see, it's getting 4.5 out of 5 stars. And I installed this yesterday. I mean, those 61 reviews and 4.5 stars is a pretty good number. I had installed it yesterday and created the backup. Now, when you're in Linux, you must back up your home directory. I set this thing to backup roughly, well, my entire installation is 60 gigabyte. Right, 66 gigabytes. So the home directory is probably 20 gigabytes as an example. Let's just say it's 20 gigabytes. I don't think it's anywhere near that, but let's just say it's 20 gigabytes. I got up this morning leaving it running when I went to bed and had a full hard drive. And all of my permissions were changed to root in the home directory. There's a very good chance I did something wrong because I haven't been running Linux that long. It's not in Windows, I wouldn't tend to make that mistake because I'm very well versed in Windows, but I may have made a mistake. Okay? But if you're going to use this one, be very cautious with it because I don't know why it would have changed permissions. And I don't know why what it did basically is it got into a loop and it continued to back up the backup. So the backup changed, so it backed it up again. It should have just done a straight up backup and everything should have been hunky-dunky from that point. It just didn't go that way. Now, there's a program built into Linux for backups. I have not tried it. If you try it, you can certainly try it. Just be cautious when you're doing it. Backup utilities can be problematic at times. That's one of the reasons in Windows I just suggest Carbonite straight out. Now for Linux, I'm going to suggest Cloudberry Backup. I have used it. I used it under Windows, and it was a little bit, it gave me some issues under Windows. It hasn't given me any issues under Linux per se, but I kind of wanted to see if I could try something else. But all backup utilities are a little bit on the resource-intensive side when they're running, right? And there's just no way to get away from it. I was hoping for a Carbonite experience, and I'm not going to get that unless Carbonite decides to port to Linux. And if they did, I would be back with them in a heartbeat. Now, I have gone to cloudberrylab.com, and I've gone for the free trial because there is a free version of this, and the free version is all that I need. Right? So I go with the free version. Now, it's about to give me a file. I've done this before. We got to go through the capture crap, but that's okay. And I will pop back in my email address. CA. And bang, here we go. No, it senses that I'm on a Ubuntu Debian version, which is great. Yeah, your website uses cookies. Good for you. I'm downloading the version now. I'm going to take a second to download this thing. And then I will go to Nemo, which is the file manager for the graphical desktop. Open this thing up. And I can delete some of this stuff while I'm in here. I did some postings for my other business today. I certainly don't need that. I don't need that anymore. So here we have the Ubuntu version of Cloudberry, and it's a Debian version. So in this particular case, I just double-click the thing, and it's going to install. Right. Pretty straightforward with this. It's going to install some dependencies for me automatically. Cloudberry's got a nice setup for it. Now, the paid version, I think, is like $29 to buy the paid version. And I was considering it, but in actuality, I don't really want these files encrypted. Encrypting these files is a great idea, especially if you are using any kind of public space. I'm not. I'm using a private space, and it's not low-hanging fruit. It's up at the top of the tree, so I'm not going to worry about the files being encrypted. Because if I need to restore them, it just gets to be a massive pain in the neck to do so. Now here we go. It's going to resolve the dependencies, and it's going to install Cloudberry. This won't take very long. I'll put up the details here so you can see it. Why not, eh? Now I'm going to go through the configuration of it, because this is where things get tricky. You can, excuse me, when you script the configuration, you can start getting errors, which is okay. You can live with errors, or you can start backing up stuff that you just really don't want to back up. And there's like, you don't want to back up your trash files. Right? Let's face it. And I use a fantastic terminal-based file manager. I don't use the graphical one for very many purposes. Now we're in we're doing a desktop update here, basically. So I'm using the graphical one. It's called, the one I use in the terminal is called VIFM, and it is absolutely, yeah, we're all done. It is absolutely wonderful. But it has a trash directory, and I haven't figured out yet how to get it to auto-delete the trash files. So I had like 50, 60 gigabytes of deleted stuff in there that I had to manually delete. Otherwise, it would have been backed up, because that last backup program doesn't let you differentiate between things, which is not good. Now, we're going to look for Cloudberry, which is right there. Now, I'm just going to do it very quick, add this to the desktop thing here. Don't really need to do that, but I'm going to anyway, and then I'll come back here rather than remove that, and we will just launch Cloudberry backup. Excuse me. Now, it's reading my old files, which is wonderful. I didn't think that they still existed. Okay, so I'm going to go to what was my daily backup at this particular point in time, and you can see I had some errors on it here. Now, backup storage I configured, and even though I'm calling this a cloud plan, it really is not. Now, my backup is in my home directory, and if we whip our way down here, we can find it. Where did I put that? Just bear with me a second here, guys. It's actually not showing up here, and it should. Okay, so we're gonna maybe do this again here. Let's delete that. Okay. I'm gonna delete everything here, and we'll get everything running all nice and fresh. Okay. My plans, good. We got nothing there. That's a much better way to start things up for everybody concerned here. Now, storage, backup storage. What I'm going to need is I need to create a new plan in order to back up here. Backup storage. Okay, we're not listing anything here. Good. Create a backup plan. It's been a while since I've done this. And here we go. Now it's going to ask me to select a cloud storage here. And because this is a cloud storage item. And I don't particularly want to use a cloud storage. Instead, here we go, I'm going to use my file system, right? And this is my next cloud directory that I'm going to put this in, because that is a local item, right? Now as we go to here, I am going to go to next cloud, which is right here, and then I'm going to put this into Linux backup. So this is where I am choosing to use for my file system there. I'm not connecting directly to a cloud because I don't want to use Dropbox or something like that. You can use Dropbox, you can use OneDrive, you can use anything for this that you want to do. In my case, I'm copying this to a directory, and then I'm going to go from there with that. I'm just going to call this daily backups. Now, what am I going to back up is where we get into this. Now, there's two folders that we need to look at backing up, but number one, which I'm going to do in this first backup, I'm going to do the etc. as a second backup. I'm not going to do that one right now. I'm going to have two different backup plans for each of these, right? And other than that, there's nothing you need to back up here, because everything else you can reinstall very easily. Because reinstalling Linux is not that big a deal, right? So what do I not want in this? I'm not going to back up Dropbox. That seems silly. I am also not going to back up Nextcloud. Right? There is no real point in doing that. Now I want this to show my hidden files. Right? In this case for me, for you you may not need to go into here. But what I want to do in this particular case for myself is I need to go into the local directory, into the shared, and I am going to go to VIFM, and I'm going to unclick trash. I do not want to back up the trash in the VIFM folder. I do not want to back up the trash anywhere. Right, so I'm just going to check through here really quickly. Seems to me there was another one. Let's see. No, I think we're looking okay. Quite often you'll see one that's called lost and found. If it shows up in your directory for your home, you don't want to do that one either. I don't see lost and found. These need to go. I'm not going to back those up because I'm going to go and delete those later on. I uninstalled it, but it kept it, and I'm just not going to add that to the backup, obviously. Now, I'm a little bit different. It's not like it's good. That takes up a whole lot of stuff, but I know what I'm doing here a lot better than most people will. And I'm not going to back up my virtual box either, because I don't care about it. There's nothing in that I'm going to need to bother with, right? If I had a crash and I lost VirtualBox, I just reinstall it. It's unimportant, so I take up the extra space for it. All of these files, of course, I do want, and then I am done for this particular backup. So I go back up here. Now, the next time around when I create a second plan, I will be doing this one. And the etc directory is different settings. And that, being able to restore that after you can reinstall some programs and then put that directory back in, and you will get your settings back, which is wonderful, right? So we click continue here, back up all the files in the selected folders, yes. Now, if you pay for it, you get to encrypt. I've got no interest in encrypting this stuff. And after I do the initial, I'm going to go to a schedule of doing it once a day automatically, but that's after I do the initial, right? Actually, that's not what that was. What was that? Default selected custom retention policy. Yes, I will actually do that myself. Delete versions older than 3 days for modification. And here's the schedule, which I will do later. Done. When the plan fails, I would like to know it failed, and that's the information. And I would also like details on it myself. You don't necessarily need the details. Click continue, and this is showing the things that are included and the things that are excluded. Okay. Include all the files in my home directory, exclude these ones, because I don't need to back up cloud files. And if I back up the cloud files, I'm also backing up the backup again, and I don't particularly want to do that either. Okay. I'm done, and then when I'm good to go, I'm just going to click start, and away we go. Now, I'm not going to start that backup right now because I've got other things to do, and as I say, doing the backup is a little bit resource intensive, and so just do it at my leisure. I know this backup plan works. It's not going to go and do weird things on me like the last one did, so I don't mind doing this one later in the day when I'm no longer needing to work on things on my laptop here. So that's it for today's video, guys. Hope you get something out of it, and we will catch you next time. Ciao.